right, welcome back. Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, Bill. How are you, buddy?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm good.
You're
good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. I'm digging the pullover you got there.
Thank you. Let's make no mistake, this isn't for Carolina. Right.
You explained that off air. Supporting the school, right?
The kids' school,
There you go.
Swansboro Pirates. So they're navy blue and light blue, and
Yeah.
I got some blue.
You're there. You're that dad in the stands.
That's right.
You guys just wrapped up basketball, right?
Wrapped up basketball. Soccer's in season now, so now it's just flipping.
Yeah.
You flip from inside the gym wearing this to
Now outside.
Outside.
I was going to say, I mean, it's multifaceted. You can use it for anything, right?
Yeah.
So
that's
perfect,
right.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. So, any sports going on for you right now?
No, we're getting into the thralls of dance season. We've got 3 competitions coming up, and then baseball should kick off with my 7-year-old sometime after Easter normally. Okay. So we've got signed up. He and I have been working a little bit on the side trying to get prepped for 7-year-old coach pitch, if you know what I mean.
There you go. I think my little guy is getting ready to go into another season of flag football.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
He's my football guy.
Yeah, hey,
I got basketball, soccer, and football.
You got it all covered there, man. I mean, what retirement plan maybe? If they can,
sure. I'm not that person to believe that they're going to go to the big leagues.
I'm with you. I've joked with some people. I try to get my son to do a lot of different things like hunting, fishing, just being outdoors. And some of it is kind of, I would say, selfish from I don't really want to be that dad that's traveling around playing baseball year round. So if he wants to go, hunt some turkeys instead of play baseball, we're cool with that.
Yeah. I hear you on that. So. It's kind of the same thing. A while back, I tried to get one of mine to play more golf. I'm like, if I ever want to play golf again, I got to have a kid that plays golf.
Yeah.
He really doesn't. He does like it. They do kind of like it, but we don't play golf, which means I don't play golf because I'm doing all the other things.
You're chasing them around. I've got a funny story on that. So my son has started playing a little golf with me.
Okay.
I think he likes driving the cart more than golf.
Oh, yeah.
But, I think his approach to golf is perfect. I asked him this past summer, I was like, would you like to do a lesson or, a camp up here at the club that we're members at, spend a week, learn to play. And he looked at me, he's like, Dad, I know how to play golf. And I said, well, you're 7 years old. You don't know how to play golf. Yeah, dude, man, you hit it, you find it, you hit it until it gets in the hole. And I was like, he probably looks at it a lot better than I do when it comes to playing golf. Keep that attitude.
That's
man.
Right.
So.
Now we just have to hit it as little as possible.
Right.
Now that's got to add that wrinkle to it.
Well, the flip side of it is maybe he likes just hitting it and getting his money's worth. And you know what? That's not a bad way to look at it.
As long as you find it every time and don't lose money.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, there you go. Hey, look, that's a good segue into what you said talking about, man. His confidence of playing a sport and what you want to talk about is just confidence in general with sales.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, we're kind of kicking off. I would call it almost like a little bit of a growth series, right?
Yeah.
With a few of our topics here, and one of the things I listen to a lot of different podcasts. I follow a lot of different salespeople, on LinkedIn because I'm always trying to improve myself. And I listened to a podcast a few days ago. Again, Caleb Williams Bears. I'm a sucker for that stuff.
That's why the pennant's still there.
Yeah, that's why the pennant's still there. But he was talking about his growth from year 1 to year 2 as a player, and talking about how a lot of it was generated from the confidence he had. Yeah. And then it kind of simultaneously was reading about confidence in sales and how that creates more opportunities. And so, we know we've got a lot of people who watch this, whether they're agency owners, whether they're producers, and they're looking for ways to grow. And I think that first and foremost, to start growing or to grow or find growth, it starts with confidence. And having confidence in a number of different facets, but it starts with confidence, and that confidence equals more sales and growth.
I would say, obviously, if you listen to something with Caleb Williams, I've never been inside a pro locker room with pro athletes. Maybe you get the tour at the Charlotte FC or something like that.
Right.
I've had a tour of a locker room, but never been, let's say, inside the locker room. I would say one thing a professional locker room probably doesn't lack is confidence.
Yeah.
I would think all those men in there are confident at their ability.
Yeah.
And there could be a lot of reasons why they should be confident in their ability, but I know we always talk about sports, and so I do think it's a good segue in they're confident, they're having success. How do we break it down to us or our agents or the insurance industry on having success by being confident?
You know, I think one of the things that stuck in both the podcast as well as the post that I was reading, you know, was the confidence that they have. It actually starts with the work they're putting in before the event, right?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
And when I relate that to the insurance agent, you know, I look at, okay, what does our process look like? You know, when it comes to our knowledge, when it comes to our prospecting, you know, when it comes to building that sales funnel, are you confident in the work you're putting in on a day-to-day basis to ultimately have success, right? Because if you're not confident in, let's just break it down. If you're not confident in your sales process as far as prospecting goes, I think that's where you see some of that desperation, right? And you see people chase.
I think the key thing there that we're seeing is preparation builds confidence.
It does.
So if we just break it down to the small portion, preparation is going to build confidence. To your point, the preparation is on everything. I mean, that's a loaded word there.
It is.
Because what are you preparing for? Well, could be prospecting, could be pipelines, could be marketing materials, could be your elevator pitch. I mean, it could be preparing for everything. So to your point, preparation
matters, and putting the work in correctly.
That's right. The only way you can be prepared is to know what you're trying to prepare for as well. And I think that's where I'm segueing back to what you said is you got to know what you're doing.
Yes.
So you can prepare for it.
Yes. You've got to know who your ideal client is, right? You've got to know your product, right? You've got to know your time frame. You have to know what the sales cycle for that prospect is, right? I think what I find, you know, as someone who does a lot of prospecting, right? You have to know your numbers, and if you're confident in your approach, it actually makes it easier to handle objections, because at the end of the day, in this industry, you are going to face objections. I mean, that's just the name of the game.
Anything in life, you're going to face the objections, right?
And people are going to tell you no.
Yeah.
And if you're not confident in what you're doing, it's harder to handle that. Whereas if you're confident in the work you're putting in is going to equal success, then ultimately it's going to be easier to handle and move on to the next one, because you know, I've got opportunities coming up that I'm going to close.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we see a lot of agents or agencies in general is I don't want to call it a failure, right? Because I think that's too harsh of a word, but there's a lack of confidence in their preparation, which then creates desperation when it comes to handling objections and no's. And it creates a little bit of a stagnant funnel.
Some people are just going to be overly confident, maybe to their detriment, because then they're just trying to wing it. And I think to your point with the way you're talking about the confidence in here and preparing and knowing your process and knowing to get back up because you know it works and know how things, it comes with having a plan having a structure for yourself.
It does.
That gets you back on track when something goes wrong or when you get those questions there. But yeah, I really couldn't agree more on, you know, you got to know what you need to do and not just wing it. And the more you do what you need to do behind the scenes in the mirror with a partner or whoever it may be, man, that is going to build that confidence. So when it is game time, you're ready to go.
Well, and I think that confidence in putting in the right work in that preparation builds belief.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at the end of the day, no matter if you're a personal lines producer, commercial lines producer, you know, whatever it might be, you've got to have belief at the end of the day in what you're doing, and that, hey, the value I'm bringing is there, and that again. That confidence, that preparation builds that belief.
Look, and you said it there. It kind of triggered to me. You got to believe in what you do.
Yes.
You know, you can't just be out there selling something to sell it to make money. If you're only selling something to make money, you don't believe what you do. Your confidence really in anything. You're just sitting there trying to figure out how to make a dollar, and
your
that's not going to last.
Your prospect's going to see right through that.
Yeah, I mean, so. Preparing is a key thing to build that confidence. I also think another way to gain the confidence is actually doing it.
Yes.
Like get out there, and we've kind of sprinkled this in during this conversation, but actually getting out there and doing it and having success builds confidence.
Success breeds success, right? And you know, I'm with you 100%, right? You got to get out there and you got to get your nose bloodied a little bit, right?
Hey, look, you also can get confidence by getting told no and fixing it, so that way you know what to do next time.
It's how you learn. I mean, absolutely. I think that's part of building your process is you know, okay, figuring out what works and what doesn't work along the way, and you know, and always tweaking it, always evolving it, right? You know, always working on your craft builds that confidence, and never, you know, I'd say settling and saying, "Oh, I've got this figured out."
Oh, that's right.
Because I don't believe anybody has anything completely figured out. Otherwise, there wouldn't be as many people doing.
How about this? If they think they figured it out, they probably aren't making enough calls.
That's fair.
Because I think to your point is you're going to get told no. Even if you have the best thing in the world, it's not always a win. So, yeah, if you got it figured out, you probably aren't calling enough people and seeing what's out there to figure out what that next person has. Because everybody's got unique, you know, abilities and thoughts and mindsets going behind it. You need to hear them.
Yeah.
You need to hear them because some of them may overlap.
As we talk about growth and finding growth, I think it all starts with the confidence in the work you're putting in really prior to, I would say, the sale, right? You know, in either the more confidence you have, the better your prospecting is going to be, the better your sales funnel is going to be, the better your close ratio is going to be, the more value you're going to drive, which ultimately then creates a steadier funnel for you. You know, you're not chasing, you're not desperate, and you're busy, but you don't feel, I'd say, scrambled.
Well, and I guess we bring this up because we do see the second guessing out there. Yeah. You know, it's one of those things that, again, like I said, we certainly see people full of confidence. Hey, good. Other people are like, well, I'm not ready yet. Okay, why aren't you ready? And so you can see it in the back of their mind, like they're not confident about something. And then that's the question is, what is it? Is it because you haven't prepared good enough? Is it because you hadn't been out there and done enough? Well, we can fix all those. And I think people need to realize you don't have to have success immediately.
Right.
And I think sometimes they look at it going, well, the first person I called said no, so I'm done for the day, the week, the month. And you're like, no, hold on.
We've got to keep stacking.
That's right.
You know, I think somebody told me, you know, when it comes to what they were doing, their whole like job is, I want to see how many no's I can get before I get a yes. Yeah. Right. And I want to keep working, right? I'm going to see how many no's. That's my challenge. How many no's can I get before I get a yes? And
you're that much closer to a yes with the no, aren't
you? Right. You are. And I mean, I think, you know, you mentioned that we see people all the time, and, you know, listen, we help people come over, start agencies, and they come from the captive world and they build really nice books of personal lines. And then we start having that conversation about diversification and branching into the small commercial space a little more heavily. And I would say we see sometimes that lack of confidence in it hold them back. And they, to your point, they're like, I don't really know yet, you know, and I think I respect it. I understand it. But I think that's where, from our perspective, that's why we have people like Tracy as our growth coach. That's why we have the BIA program. That's why we have these great relationships with these carrier partners of ours is, okay, we can help you build that confidence from the ground up to where you can go to market with the confidence that you're targeting the right things. You've got the right plan in place. You've got the right marketing tools at your disposal. And then you also have the product knowledge to bring value to that client.
I think putting in the work will help build the confidence as well. And going back to the earlier segment about professional athletes, they put in the work. It's not like they wake up and go play on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not how it happens. They put in the work, preparation, and then it's also the repetition, doing it over and over and over. And there's a reason why, whether it's, you know, in basketball, soccer, football, doesn't matter. The more senior people understand they've been in those positions before, and they're confident they can handle it. They're okay doing that. For football, that 2-minute drill at the end of the game.
They've practiced it.
And the more seasoned the person, I believe, probably the better they handle it, because they're like, I've done this 100 times at this point. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, listen, we're sales, right? And prospecting is part of sales. It's really hard to prospect when you don't have confidence, when you haven't prepared for it. But I'm sure there's plenty of salespeople watching this. They'll talk about how they have days where they're on a roll, and it's, hey, those yeses, those setting those appointments, right? Those closing those deals, that breeds confidence.
Hey, shoot or shoot,
and
right?
makes it easier to keep doing it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And to your point, if you get out there and do it, and you start working, and you're going to face no's, you're going to face objections, but you're going to keep working and keep building. And when that pendulum flips and you start getting those yeses, guess what? It's going to be easier to keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And I think that's the whole moral of this episode is, you've got to put the work in. You've got to prepare, right? You can't kind of fly by the seat of your pants. You've got to prepare correctly to build that confidence so that when it's game day, you're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. And looking to your point, when you hit a slump, that's just what it is. It's a slump.
Everybody goes through them.
Yeah. They talk slumps in baseball, but shooters get cold in basketball, but they shoot for a reason.
Yeah.
And if they get cold, guess what?
Going to shoot their way out of it.
They're going to shoot their way out of it.
100%.
And so there's no reason to go, well, I'm not shooting good. I just got to stop. Because then you never know when you're going to start shooting good again.
Right.
And so I think it's the same thing, like you said in sales. Roll when you're rolling. When you're hot, you got the hot hand. You're going to keep shooting. You're going to keep calling.
Yep.
But when you get cold, you better do the same thing because you can get hot again.
Yes.
So just have that confidence to keep rolling when times get tough and keep doing the tough things. And if it doesn't work, doesn't mean keep doing the same thing. Sometimes your process may be so good you can keep doing the same thing and you're going to get out of it. Other times it may mean, hey, I need to tweak something. This isn't working anymore. Maybe things have evolved a little bit. The market's changed. Something's happened.
Right.
I need to do something a little different.
Hey, there's always something you can get better at. Right.
Oh,
I mean, again, going back to the athlete, I don't know any athlete that doesn't go into an off season without something to work on within their craft. And I would say sales is the same thing. I'll speak for myself. I've been doing what I do basically for 10 years now, this coming June. And, my wife has heard my elevator pitches, my presentations. I'm constantly talking with her about it, going, hey, what if I said this? Does this make sense? She's probably been recruited 100 times over to join SIA of North Carolina. But I'm constantly trying to evolve with what I'm doing to make sure I'm hitting the right touches and pain points and things like that.
Hey, funny you say that because I'm sitting here remembering a picture that Brian has with his son wearing, SIA group gear. Like he's going to be an insurance, he's going to be in the insurance world, insurance producer, and he is just in middle school. So it is one of those things. He didn't get that for no reason. He got that probably because Brian is preparing and he sees that day in and day out at his house as well. So,
exactly.
Funny you say that because that brings back that memory of, I don't know if Brian posted it or not, but I remember seeing it.
Yeah, career day. He dressed like Dad and was rocking the SIA group gear. He looked good in it too.
Yeah, that's right. But there's a reason he wanted to do that.
Right.
So, and I know people look up to their dads and things of that, but they look up to them when they see what they do and how they do it. So
Correct.
Yeah, cool things to see sometimes.
Yeah, it's great. So, well, I think we've covered we've covered this one pretty good.
Now it's just time to get out there and do it.
Yeah, put the work in, and don't be afraid to reach out to us. We've got a lot of great tools to help with those types of things. If you're looking to create some growth in your agency, or if you're looking to step out and start an agency, by all means, feel free to contact Bill and I, and we'd be happy to walk you through where we're there to support you with that.
Yep, sounds good. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. You can catch our Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, or send us over a topic recommendation at podcast@siaofnc.com. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, visit us online at www.siaofnc.com. We hope you enjoyed our newest episode. See you next week.